live? Seems like we are. Alright. Alright. Alright, who's here already? So let's get ready here. Just gonna wait a few seconds for people to get here. Meanwhile, I will reset my settings. I don't want to show you this thingy. I'm just going to reset this thing. Alright, so I start with a blank Houdini. Hey guys, how are you? Oh, I even have that thing. I forgot about it. Look at that. Alright. Feline Arts. Hey man, how are you? Sean, Eric, Chance, Mironenko, the Patterby, Feline Arts. Already tell you, Sean. Cool. There's a lot of people here. Do I know L systems? I do. I do know L systems. I've used them for a few things. L systems, yeah, that's a good one actually. L systems, it's real nice. Let me put it in my notes right now. Gonna put it in my notes. Create a new task. Something about L systems. Got it. Priority medium. Save it. Alright. Got it. L systems is on my list. Hey Mills, what's up man? What up? Like really happy to see a bunch of people here. So let's just give a few more minutes and then we can start. So yeah, Houdini from scratch, right? Sure. Cool, Sean. Yeah, L systems. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. Can do pretty good looking stuff with L systems. Alright, so what time is it? Let's wait a few more minutes. Who else is here? Yeah, Nordi? Is your name pronounced Nordi? Hey man, sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Glad you're awake, man. Hey Carl, what's up? Cool. Yeah, Sean, I'm working on that stuff. Because I want to give, I want to prepare the training well, so it's really helpful to people because I don't want to just show you how I do stuff. I want to actually learn, for you to learn stuff and get the best experience. AJ, hey, what's up, man? Peter, what's up? Hey, George, what's up, George? Glad to see you here, man. Alright, so yeah, there's some people here. Awesome. Awesomeness. Russia. Awesome. Russia, eh? That's pretty far stuff. At least for me, it's far away from here. So, alright. Daniel, what's up, Daniel? Hyvan70. Not sure if that's your name. If you want to type your name, so everybody meets you there in the chat. Alright, so let's start with the subject for today, which is gonna be Houdini. So yes, greetings from Greece. Whoa, Greece is far away from me as well. Greetings from Mexico. Hey man, glad you're here. Belgium. Whoa. There's a lot of people from all over the world. Netherlands? That's cool. Alright, so first, what the hell is this Houdini thing, right? So we all know what Houdini is. That's what we're here. We're interested. And so before I start, if there's some of you I know, some of you there in the chat know Houdini. So if I'm explaining something and people has basic questions, please help me in the chat, guys. So we all help each other. All right, so Houdini, you know what it is, you know what it can do. It can do amazing things, and we all want to learn about it, right? We all want to learn the best things. We want to do explosions, we want to do games with it, we want to do fracturing and simulations and all that beautiful stuff, hair, fluid. We want to do all that stuff, of course, but we need to start somewhere, right? Spin Turbo from Germany, cool. And Harold from Australia, awesome. So we need to start something and somewhere, sorry. And I'm gonna tell you first about Houdini and the products they have, because I get questions every day about does Houdini support this? Does Indy support that? What is the difference? Can I use Houdini engine? And basically all the information is here. You can see in this page. There's a few products. There's the Houdini core, there's Houdini effects, there's Houdini engine, there's Houdini Indy, and Houdini Indy is free. Houdini engine Indy, which is free, and Houdini for education. All right, so there's a few products, right? Hamed from Egypt, hey man. So let's go to the compare section, which is just makes this a little bit more clear. So you can see here in the, let me activate my keys. Now I have this program to show keys. So someone said they wanted to know what I'm pressing, so I added that stuff. So the two commercial products, or the big commercial products, are the Houdini core and Houdini effects. Let's start from the top. Hey David, how's Canada, man? What part of Canada are you from? I know Canada. So Houdini effects is the big product. It has everything, has no limits. It's the huge product, right? And I want to say this is the main product, which the other ones are based from, right? So Houdini effects has everything, has all the modeling, all the effects, all the simulation stuff, has everything. It doesn't have a watermark because that's the huge product, and it's the most expensive as well, right? This is the price, alright, whatever. Then a smaller version of this is the Houdini core, which just contains basically everything except the effects stuff, all these things here, and that is way less expensive, more than half, and it's even on promotion right now. So, and then Indy is basically the same as Houdini effects, but it just has a few limitations and a few limitations on the resolution size for animation. So the top that you can render with Houdini engine, Houdini Indy, is this resolution for animations. For stills, it's just unlimited. You can render whatever size. And Indy is, of course, really unexpensive. It's $200, which is really cool for when you have just that amount of budget, or that's the market you're on. Then education, it's just the same as Houdini effects, but it's just used for education and has a different scene a different scene format. It's for just for education. So this is actually really inexpensive, and I think it's really actually even free for students. So it's pretty cool. Apprentice has everything that FX has as well. You know, there's a few limitations. You can have external renderers and stuff, and the resolution is limited, but you can use everything, even the pyro stuff. So this is just for non-commercial stuff. It's just for learning. You can see this is the section for learning. So these two versions are just for learning. And I got some questions that some people said, can I convert files from education to indie or from education or apprentice to FX? And you can't actually. You can't do that unless you are a client and you just bought your Houdini FX license or whatever. I think Side Effects offers the opportunity to convert your scenes once, and then you can do that, but just be mindful that you can't do that stuff. Alright. Montreal. Oh, right, cool. Oh, several people from Montreal. Yeah, so that's the difference from all the stuff. Houdini FX is the one that was called Master before. Now it's Houdini FX. It's just the main product, the big one. It's Houdini FX. It used to be called Master. Now it's just FX because it includes the FX stuff. And Houdini Core it used to be called just Houdini, but they just put it Core to make it clear to people what the hell is happening with that stuff. All right. Okay. So Eric from New Zealand, awesome. Denial from London, awesome, cool. All right, so that's the differences. You can't mix this stuff. I think the only ones you can mix is actually Core and FX. Those two can live in the same pipeline, but these two guys with the other ones can live in the same pipeline. I don't think even Apprentice and Education can kind of live together. They are kind of a little bit different. So this might work together, but I'm not sure. So that's how stuff is structured from versions, right? So now let's see what we can get here. If you just test in Houdini, just get the Apprentice version. That's free. It's not a demo. You can use it forever, and you can use it for learning. That's how it is. It has no limits on the functionality. Only in a few aspects you can see what it's limited here, and the resolution, right? But you can build anything for learning. That's the good thing, and it's free. The Apprentice it's free, right? Does not have a time limit or whatever. And so if you want to get that, well, you just go here to the downloads and you just get the download here. The downloads are exactly the same. You can download the same version. You don't need anything else, but when you install it, it just asks you if you want to install the Apprentice license, and you just install that, and you're ready to go. If you have a license, then you can just put your license there, and it's ready to go as well. Alright, so that's about Houdini. And the other thing here is very important, is that there's a Houdini tutorial section, which is pretty cool. I wish it had a little bit more better filtering, but it's really nice. There's a bunch of good tutorials there. All right. So now you install Houdini and you run it, and this is what you have, right? I resetted my preferences, so this is exactly what you get when you open it from the first time. So it just says that some statistics stuff. If you want to participate in that, you can just click OK. If you don't want to, no, or ask me later, whatever. This is again Houdini, it's been very helpful trying to tell you this. There are some quick start videos here. It's opening here this, and it opens the quick start section here for the tutorial section here in the web page. There's some other lessons. You can see there's a lot of videos for Houdini. It's sometimes it's overwhelming how much it is. And the Orbal gallery or site when you can share assets and stuff like that. So if you don't want this to show at start, you can just turn it off here and close this. So this is default thing, right? Hey Peter from Ireland. How amazing. How cool. Alright, so this is the default Houdini stuff. So I'm not going to assume that you know anything about Houdini or other applications. This is going to be very, very, very from scratch. Alright, so I don't ever use that panel. Let's go. Go ahead. Go away. So this is the main thing. It's the viewport, right? It's this huge blue gradient box here. This is the viewport where you can view your models. By default, I think it has this camera activated. You can navigate it with the left mouse button, and then we have a lot of other stuff here all over the place. So up here we have the main menu, of course. You can do some stuff here. This is different desktops. This is different context for the radial menus that we'll see in a little bit. Then we have the shelf here, a bunch of shelves here. Yes, I am running Houdini 16. Yes, this is Houdini 16. These shelves are just for creating stuff, for modifying stuff, modeling, polygon. There's a bunch of tools just organized in different sections here. You can see there's for hair, for brushes, terrain, for clouds, etc. And there's for lights, collisions. This is just tools that we will be using in Houdini. Some people don't like to use the shelf, and there's other ways to create those tools, but they are there if you want to use them. Then we have the viewport here, which is the main panel. Here is the scene panel. You can see this tab here is this context here. There we have a few other tabs here, the animation editor, the render view. So in this panel, this huge square here is a panel, and it has some other panels here. It's a pane and has some panels inside. All right. So all these things show different information from Houdini, right? Some are for rendering, some are for animation, some are for the scene, viewing the scene. Then we have some other panes here. This is for parameters. I don't want to click that. Some are for other things, performance stuff. This is for the channels. I just went somewhere here. Sorry. All right. Right. There's a tree view for all the context. We'll see this in a minute. The material palette to create materials, and the asset browser that connects with Orbal, which I don't use as much as I should. All right. So now down here, this is details from the scene viewer, so I'm gonna skip those for now. Down here is the play bar. This is really common for whatever you hit play. You can see the time slider starts running, and you can stop it. You can go one frame at a time, go to the end, etc. This is just this is the next keyframe. Sorry, this is going to the end, going to the beginning, etc. All right. You can drag this to whatever frame you want to get to, or you can actually type the frame you want here in this in this box here. Also, there's some buttons here for animation, for timing, for looping, etc., and preferences. And the bar here at the very bottom shows the status, as the status bar, I think it's called. Alright, so it shows information here sometimes in this line, and there's just a few icons here for that are used for simulation stuff. Alright, so that's the main thing here. Houdini is basically just built into these large or small squares where you can fill with panels, right? And these panels can be resized. You can see I can resize them from the this handle here. You can make this smaller, have these two bigger. You can collapse them as well with these arrows. You can see there's an arrow that pointing in one direction or the other, and it's gonna collapse that. You can open it back again there. You can collapse this. If you don't want to see that for the moment, you can collapse that and just use this, and then you can bring it back. And you can also just flip them. If you click in the middle, there's like two arrows pointing in each direction. You can just click that and flips the panels around. And click it again. Oh, click it again, flips them again. There's a panel hidden here, so that's what happened there. You can have that panel there if you want to use it. If you don't want to use it, you can just hide it, or you can even just delete it if you don't want it to be there. You can just click this tab, and then that panel is gone completely. You can even just close these ones if you don't want them. Like, oh no, there's too much tabs there, I don't want any tabs there. Well, now it's gone. There are no tabs there. You can even close this stuff and just have nothing. Just one big panel there. And if you did this, if you're like, oh my god, how am I getting that back, this is the desktop's pane here, or the desktop selection menu. You can reload the current desktop here, and it will go back to the default. You can change to other desktops here. You can see there's one for animation, there's one for games, which is just different layouts that you can use for different things. One for grooming, which is different layouts that show the shelves here that are specific to that topic there. One for editing. This is for the images. I mean, for compositing, for look dev. You can see it. We get the interface is pretty flexible. You can do whatever you want with the interface. You can just have as many panels as you need, and any type of panel inside there. Let's go to the basic one, and then we can actually customize this layout by just dividing panels. Like, if I want to add another tab in this panel, I can just click this plus, and then just select one from. These are the ones that are here already, and in here in the new pane tab, you can select one of all these things. We could say maybe the help browser. So now we have the help here embedded in Houdini. So this is pretty helpful, because if you're learning, you're just gonna search here for animation, and then you can see here what's happening, and you can have it in the same Houdini tab here. You can even, if you click here, this button at the very top right here, it opens a help browser here. So while you're doing some tutorial here that it's on the help, you can be using Houdini at the same time. If you just have one monitor, for example, that will be helpful. We can close it. We can divide a new panel with this little down arrow here. You can see if I click it, there's option for this panel. You can see there's the split options here. I can split it in this direction. Now I have two. I can split it in the other direction. Now I have another two here. So this way you can customize your geometry, I mean your interface, however you like to use it. I use it somehow like this. Instead of having two panels, I just divide it here, and I put my, if you right click on this tab, you can see you can change the type of this. You can change it to parameters, you can change it to composite view, You can change it to a Python text shell. I generally put this into the network, make it a network view, and that's how I work, and make these the parameters. So whenever I have an object, let me just create something. I don't have Roberto, yeah, because it's gone. I restarted everything, right? So this is my network and this is my parameters. That's how I work, but you can work however you want. And all right, so let me just see if there's any questions. What's the difference between shops and the material tab? All right. Growing in Houdini. All right, so I will get into shading a little bit later, so I will hold that question for later. But it's not that hard. Shops and materials are basically the same without just one level of nodes. All right, so I'm gonna leave my interface like this because this is kind of what I'm used to working. But you can see if I want to actually talking about desktops, you want to save this, you can actually do that here as well. Click here, and then you can save the current desktop. And but don't save it as the current desktop because you're gonna save it as the build desktop. Save it as current desktop as, so it will ask you for a new name. And let's call this my desktop, right? Enter, and then it saves that. And I hate that this tab, this bar always gets collapsed when you save that, so just save it again. You can see now we have my desktop here. We can go back to the default one, which is the build. This is the default one. Did I change it? Let me reset this. Reload. This is the default one. Let me go to my desktop and I just change that. I can even collapse that and say I don't want to see the shelf for my desktop. Save it. Now you can see if I go back to build, the shelf is there. If I go to my desktop, the shelf is hidden away. So it's just configurations. Some other applications call it workspaces or workspace, something like that. So let's go back to build. All right, so that's for that. Now to navigate, let me just bring Roberto back. To navigate the viewport is real simple. If you just click this button here, the camera icon, well, this is activated. You can just use the buttons of your mouse. That's left click to orbit the view, right click to zoom in and out, and then pressing the middle button or the scroll wheel, you can drag, pan the viewport, move it up and down, left, right. So this is how you navigate stuff. You can want to get into the back or back of the head of Roberto, you can just do that, just moving that. When you are in another context, like when you're selecting stuff, if we now go up here to the selection stuff, we have a selection for objects. You can see we have a bunch of stuff so we can select here. But basically this is just for selecting objects. This is for selecting components of that geometry, points, edges, primitives. But it's easier if you just click here. You can see this bar here, it's sensitive to whatever you have here selected. You can change the amount, the different types of selection. Now, right now we have the box selection. You can see it there, square, a little square. You can use the lasso. Now you can do this if you want to select specific stuff, right? The laser, the brush, just like it paints and you select. Paint, select, select, deselect. When you brush or you click on something, you select it. When you click outside, you deselect that stuff. There's the laser select. All these things have different uses. And then there's select only whatever is visible. We'll see this others when we start selecting points and stuff like that. And so now the next button you're gonna select, if you click it, you can see the options are here. Instead of so most of the times, instead of doing whatever is on this menu here, so that menu comes up by right clicking or just pressing, left clicking and holding, you get this menu. But that's useful to see the shortcuts there. Sure, useful. But you can now also just use these buttons, which are most of this stuff is here. So if I click here, I select points. Now you can see I have points on Roberto, and I can just drag, and I'm gonna select points. I'm not selecting points. Why? What is it? Why the hell is Roberto not being selected? There we go. That was weird. Alright, so I was at the top level for some reason. Alright, so that's good to know. I have to first click on it. So if you are at the geometry level here, at the object level, sorry, you need to click the object, and then you get into the geometry object, which is, we're gonna see about that. So now we can select the points. You can see the ones that are blue are the ones that this is like the preview of what I'm going to select, and then we can just release, and the yellow ones are the ones that I selected. Again, you can select edges as well, or the primitives, which are in other programs known as faces or polygons. These are the known in Houdini as primitives. Vertices are for stuff related to texturing. Breakpoints, I don't even know what breakpoints are. I think those are for curves stuff. So again, you can change the type of selection here. You can see I have a lasso now. I can select more precise if I need to, if I don't need a box to select, or painting, like I want to select this area. This is really helpful. If you have one of this, like I do use a lot of my Wacom tablet, I use a lot this mode to select stuff. The laser, it's also similar to the brush, but doesn't have a radius. You can actually make some radius here for the brush here. If you want to select something faster, you can put it like 50, and it's a big radius now. It's really cool for selecting stuff, especially if you use a pen. All right, and let me put this down to 10. Select visible. Yeah, there. Right now, if I enable that, you can see. Let's try something more obvious, like the box. I can drag a box, and it seems like I selected everything, but if I go back, I didn't select the back. By default, this is off, and when you drag, you will select everything. It will go through the geometry and select the back side. If you don't want that, you can just say, I want to select just this area, and I don't want to select the back. You can toggle that on, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. Select contain geometry. This is select groups. This is something else. Let's just not talk about it yet. And then if you want to select the whole geometry, you can select it with this button. No matter what you select, you will select the whole thing. Right, and there's also double clicking on points. Like, let me switch to faces now. If you double click here, you can see Roberto is made of different parts. If I just move that, you can see this, it's different parts that are not joined together. So if I double click on any part, I'm gonna select that whole thing. Just double clicking on those objects, and I can select any part that it's connected. Also for modeling, if you are selecting, let me delete that stuff. You can select loops of edges like that. Double clicking on an edge will select the loop of it, or all the connected edges of that. This is pretty useful for your modeling stuff. If you want a model and then just modify that, you can select that pretty quickly by double clicking, which is pretty cool. Alright, so now let's go here to the selection. Again, it's basically the same thing. Selection, box clip, box. Lasso and all the stuff. Add to selection by clicking Shift, Control Shift for toggling. This is basically the selection modes. If you just, let's go to points. If you have that selected, let's go to points. And then you want to add to the selection. Let me select like this. You want to add another part. Like if I just do this, it will replace that. If I hold Shift, it will add to that selection, and I can keep adding. If I press Control and Shift and do this, that toggles off, and then this gets selected. So it inverts. If this is selected, it deselects, and if it's selected, if it's not selected, it gets selected. So it's kind of like inverting whatever status of that point or face is. It's at that moment. Like if I have all that deselected and select everything else with Control Shift, it will deselect that stuff and select the rest. Alright, and now here we have move, rotate, scale, and the handle, and then we have some snapping stuff of, to the grid, to the to curves, to points, and then multi-snapping to different things. The camera that we already used, and this is for rendering a region here in the viewport. If you want to render this, you can just click that, drag a box, and you start a render right there. You can see this is rendering. You can close it here or resize it or move it around if you just want to render some area really quickly. And then there is the I don't even know what this is. Oh yeah, it's the inspect, just for, I never use this. Inspecting parameters here. I don't use it as much. I should use it more. Alright. Shows you information about different objects and stuff. Alright. I don't want to use it right now. Or this. So again, all these guys have different settings, and some of them show the settings here. You can see if I go to the move tool, now that part that I have selected, it shows the move manipulator. Now I can move it around, up. Oh, and I'm actually snapping. We turn off point snapping. You can move it up, moving in Y, in X, and by default, whatever you select is gonna become the area that you can move. You can see I'm selecting something else and I'm moving that. And by default, I think this is aligning to the object or to the selection that you have. So it's just pointing, kind of aligning it to that selection. But for example, if I want to move it along this face, you can see that it's aligning to that. So if you select more than one, it's just taking an average and then trying to move in that direction. I switched to edges for some reason. So it tries to get an average of whatever you have selected. If you don't want to do that, you can press, you can also see here in the bottom of the viewport, there's some information. Hold A or Control A or Control Shift A for selection. But when you're moving stuff, you can also press M. Let me show the let me show the manipulator. You can press M, and then it switches to the transform geometry. You can see the handle. Select faces. It will be better. Also, select the move tool again. I have too much faces here. Let me just deselect those. So right now we are aligned to. You can see here in the third row here, it says how how the handle is aligned. Right now it's aligned to the viewport. You can see we are only moving in this direction, but particular to this camera view that we have right now. Now it's aligned to component, which was the first thing we saw. It tries to align to the average of that selection. Handle is aligned to object. Now it's aligned to the direction of the main object here. And then it's aligned to the world. It's aligned to this widget here, which is just going to be the global X, Y, and Z direction there. You can see it, no matter what I select, it's just going to be aligned to that world. And this is most of the time you're going to use it like this. So we have Roberto. It's totally destroyed. Poor Roberto. Alright, so again, the same things apply for rotate. You can see the shortcuts there. For translate is T, for move is T, for rotate is R, and for scale is E. You can just press R. We have this widget for rotation. Again, you can move in any axis you select here. It will tell you, the cursor will tell you what axis you're trying to move. You can see there's some movement in this axis. If you select this one, you can see that it says XYZ, which because it's gonna move based on the camera angle you're looking at. So the plane is directly from your viewpoint. Or you can even select here inside the sphere and kind of move the sphere around, like if you were moving a little sphere there from this point. You can select whatever else and it will center on that selection and start moving. Now we can do the same with translate. Select, and this is the translate gizmo. You can the scale gizmo. If you click on the little arrows, you're gonna scale uniformly, and then if you select any axis, it will scale on that plane. You can see this is the Y and Z plane, this is the XZ plane, and this is the XY plane. Then for individual axes, you have these ones in the inside. You can see this is the X one, this is the Z, and this is the Y. This is really cool actually. And if you select this one, the handle, it will just try to select. It will try to show you most of the handles. It can only show you two. Right now it's moving. It's showing the move and the rotate. But if you have scale, then go back. You will have scale and translate there. We'll try to mix the two handles that it can mix. You can also see that the move tool has these planes here. These little planes here will allow you to move in that plane as well. Moving in two axes, two axes at the same time. There you go. So that's how you move geometry around. If we go back here, I'm gonna show you that this is the object level. And before I continue here, let me see if there's any questions. How do you move the look and options in the light? Where do they move the look and options in the light? I don't. The look at options. They should be in the same place. I don't know if they move them. Transform. Oh yeah, there's no look at options here. I don't know. I never used the look at options actually, so that's weird. Yeah, it's weird. How do galleries work? Can you do an essay? Can I break a model into parts? Yes, you can. How can you reduce noise in renders? That's not a topic for today. Loop select faces. Yeah, you can loop select faces as well. What I do all the time is just press S for the select tool and then press the number for the mode that I want to select. let me change. So if I want to select a ring of faces, S4 to select faces, you can select, you can see it, the instructions here actually tells you how to do it. Hold A or Control A, Control Shift to select full or partial loops. If I press A and hold, and then press middle click on this thing, shift, like that. So for faces, since they have two directions, for edges you can just double click them. For faces you can't double click them because it will select the whole thing. It doesn't know what direction you want, right? If you press A and then select one face, and then the face that you want to go, the direction that you want to go, like this one, press A and then middle press A and then shift middle click, shift A. So yeah, it's kind of confusing, but it's select the first face, then press shift A and then middle click on the next face to set the direction of the loop. So that's how you do it. Shift A, selection. If you press actually Shift A, you can see there's like a nice way you can select stuff like continuously from that frame, from that phase. But if you just want the loop, select one phase, then select the other one with Shift A, middle click, Shift A, middle click, selects that. If I want to go in this direction, selects that strip in that direction. That's how you select that. Construction plane. Well, construction plane is just for if you want, that's more advanced stuff for modeling, but if you want to model in certain plane, you can set the model plane to the construction plane for some direction and then model in that plane if you want to. Mentor node, use pixel sample up. I don't know what that is. Right, so let's continue with objects. Let's go here into the objects. This is the network view. In the network view, you see I have this object right now. To create objects, let me delete that one. You can go here to the create tab and create a bunch of things here, like a box. You can just click it and then it tells you where do you want to place that. And I want to place it there. You just click on it and then click here, or control click on it and then it will place it at the center of the world. But the most important thing is that you can press tab, and the tab menu is the most amazing thing in Houdini. And you can just press tab and then type box, and then you have the box filter from all the tools in Houdini, and then press enter, then you have that there. Then you press enter and place the tool at the center of the world, right? You can press delete to delete it. Let's create a torus by control clicking on it, and then we can navigate around it. You can see this is very nice torus. Then we have the properties here for the object level. The object level translate, you can see I can move it around, or I can actually middle click on this, hold middle click, and we have this ladder for parameters. This is for detail movement. If you want to increase in that 1, that 0, 1, you can move it like that, or you can even type values there as well. You can move it around, rotate, scale. You can see all this stuff. It's just the same thing but in numbers here, right? And the uniform scale as well here. But you can see this is not where we edit the geometry. When we want to edit the geometry, let me just reset this. These values. When you want to edit the geometry, you need to get into the geometry, and this node here, it represents this node. So just think about this node as a container. You can see it has like a cylinder and a pyramid and a sphere, because this thing contains different objects. It's not one object. You can contain several objects inside here, right? So we can go inside this object by double clicking it, and we can see here, this is like a internet browser. You know, we were before in the object level, and now we are inside this object, the torus object. We can actually go back and come back to this, and if we see it here in this tree, you can see this is just like a hierarchy of folders, if you want to see it like that. The main object is the root, and then we have the object level where we have objects, and then inside that there's a torus, and inside there is the actual object, the tool that creates the torus object, right? So this is pretty simple to understand. And all these things like the ch, image, mat, object, out, shop, vex, those are different contexts, right? They are also called sometimes shop, sop, bop, which is exactly the same. We are now in the geometry level, is the sub level, which stands for surface operations. I don't think they are called like that anymore, is it? But no, they're not. So this tool here is the tool that creates the actual torus, and we have options for that. For this, you can see it. This tool has different operations that it can do. You can put it in a different axis and all that stuff, different rows, different columns and stuff. We can also press tab here. When you have your mouse here in this section, you can press tab and create something else like a box. Enter, drop it here, and you can see now we have two objects inside this container, but we are only seeing one. The box is not there. You can see the box is there, but why am I not seeing that box? Well, we can, just to show you know, going in and out of here, I can press U to go up the hierarchy here, or double click to go in, up, or press I to go in. You can press I as well, or use this panel here. So why am I not seeing this object? Well, this object has a visibility flag, which is this blue one, and this one is not on. I can kind of see the object there, but it's not actually visible. If I click this I, now I can see the cube, but I can't see both at the same time. Why? The other one just goes away. If I press Control no, it's not that thing. That's weird. All right. So to put these two objects together, we need to use something that's called a merge. And the merge node, just like the little icon there says, it takes several objects just by clicking and dragging from this dot here. It will pass the information to this node. Now we see this node, we have the two objects together, right? So we're just merging two objects. This will be in our application like joining two things. All right. So we have, if we set the display flag on this is called a display flag. If we go up, now we see both objects there. You can see now we have two objects, and if I move this container, of course it will take the two objects together because those objects are inside that container, right? Let's put 0 here and go inside. We can have more objects here, like another torus object, and drag it there. Again, I'm just clicking and dragging this little dot to create a connection, and then just putting it there. And you can also just drag it from the end, put it somewhere else, and you disconnect that. Click it and drag it somewhere else, and you disconnect that. Like I didn't want this second torus there. I can just disconnect that, like selecting. You can also press the Y key. You can see it there, Y, and drag. You have some scissors there, and just draw a line and to cut those connections. It's pretty simple stuff. There we go. Alright, so that is how you merge some stuff. If there's nothing merged here and we go up, there's nothing showing there, so we need to plug some stuff or just set the visibility to one of these nodes. Right? Okay, so I think we are good to build something. Can you animate CV some curves on the sub levels? CV some curves at sub level. You can't animate CVs at sub level. That's animate CVs at sub level. Sorry, you can animate CVs in different ways. You could place some bones and control each one of those. You could just animate, select one curve with a group and animate it with that. There's a few ways you can do it. Just do it quickly. If I add a curve here, you can see the curve has nothing. The curve requires you to create the geometry. So by default, if I place the node, it's just not giving me anything. I need to press the handle here to get into the creation mode for the curve. So I can just click around, click some points, enter, and now I have some curves. A curve there, right? I could actually just select one, select point, select one point, then select transform, and then I have a transform that is linked to that point. You can see if we show in this area here that we haven't covered, this is the different modes for the viewport, showing lights, showing the different types of illumination for the viewport. And here, down here, we can show the points. You can see the points showing there are blue. Then we can show the normals. Right now we don't have normals. And this displays the point numbers. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So right now we have 0.2 selected. And now if we just place keyframes to this transform that is linked to 0.2, we can just animate that. And I will show you keyframes in a second. So there you go. That's how you can animate specific points. How can I make geometry on the particle? Just merge it after you're done with your particles. We will have more sessions about every topic. So this is just for very Houdini basics. So particles, once they're back into the sub level, they are just points. You can merge whatever to them. They're just points. All right, so let me see my notes. I wanted to tell you something and I just forgot. Understanding scene scale. Alright, so we have different contexts, as we said. This is all the different contexts here. This math is for creating materials, objects for creating objects, out it's for rendering, for creating render nodes, and shop is for creating this. Don't use shop. Shop is deprecated. It's the old shader context, but now it's the math object, the math context. You can see when I click here, all these panels change to the current context that I'm clicking on. You can see I have one render node in the render. I have this object here, etc. So if you wanna, you can create more of these objects. You can even create one that is empty by creating a geo, and you can see this is just called geo. Let's call this something else like Roberto, and we have two objects there now. We can move it up. We have a torus and the second one, which is called Roberto. We can go inside by double clicking We can load a file by this. With this node, we can load any file from external location, if there's an OBJ or an Alembic or whatever. For now, I'm gonna delete it. I'm just gonna place a test object, which is Roberto. I'm gonna turn off the point numbers and the points. And you can see I have that object. Now I have two objects. I have this and I have this, right? So let's say I want to animate something. Let's animate stuff because that's cool, right? Let's say I want to move Roberto just on. I want to rotate Roberto, and I want the torus here to go around Roberto. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to remove that translation, remove that translation as well, and let's make this torus. I'm using this one. Let's make the radius a little bit bigger and go up. And Roberto, it's gonna be rotating in the y-axis. Select Roberto. It's gonna rotate in this axis like this. You can see if I go to frame 1, I wanna keyframe this value here because that's the y value, right? If I right click on it, we have a context menu there. There's a channels and keyframes option there. You can see there's a set keyframe option as well there, but alt and left mouse click is the way to go. So just learn that alt and left clicking on something will place a keyframe. If I do that, alt and click here, you can see it turns green. This means this has now a keyframe, and the keyframe it's represented here by this yellow this green line there. You can see there's a green line at frame 1. So place your frame marker here to the frame that you want to create another keyframe. You can see this turns like a pale green because this channel is animated, but this frame doesn't have a keyframe. If I go back, this is indicating that this frame has a keyframe. Go here, and then we don't have a keyframe here, but I'm gonna rotate Roberto like that, and I can just alt click here. Now it's kind of a brownish or kind of like that because it says this channel that has a keyframe, it's been modified, but it doesn't have a keyframe yet. So you can just alt click on it, and now it has a keyframe. You can see now we have one here and one here. You can make this bigger so you can actually see it. There you go. One key here and one key here. Now if I drag, you can see Roberto, it's animating there. If I play, it will animate like that. That's pretty cool. Now the torus, I can do the same for the torus. I can just maybe move it over here, and I'm gonna let's move it -5. I'm gonna show you what the pivot here is. Now the pivot is the position of this transform node. So if I move it here, you can see the whole thing it's getting away from the geometry, and this is the point where that object is going to rotate, scale, and move from. So that's basically the center of the object, let's say. So I moved it back to the origin, so because I want to rotate torus like this. So if I want to do it in this axis, the C axis, I can just click there. Let's go to the 48. Let's put 360 here, just so we know it's gonna go full rotation. So we can do that. Now that's happening. So this is playing really fast. If we click this icon here, this little clock, it will play in real time. We can set the range here. Let's set the range just to 48. You can change by these handles. You can just change the range of this play bar, or you can type the numbers here as well. Let's hit play. Now we have that, and it's playing in real time because we have this clock selected. If not, it's just gonna play as fast as it can with your computer, right? And right now this button here, it's doing a loop. If I want it just to play once, it just want to play once like that. like it just plays and stops. So this controls how much loops it does. Zigzag, it's just gonna go front and then go back, play backwards, play forwards, play backwards, right? All right, by default it's always in loop, which is cool, just loops around. All right, this button here with the key is the auto key, and if I press that, you can see now it's activated. If I let's see, Roberto, let's move it up and down with this channel here. If I move it up, you can see it doesn't have a keyframe there. I need to add a keyframe before this can auto keyframe stuff. So let's put it up, then go all the way here. We don't have a keyframe there, but since we have auto keyframe on, if we pull it down, now it created a keyframe there. You can see the keyframes there. If we go like frame 20 and move it down again, you can see we are adding another keyframe there. So it's just saying whatever channels that have a keyframe, I will auto keyframe them if you modify them. So now Roberto is moving up and down, and it's rotating. It didn't go up. There we go. Down and up, down and up, down and up. All right, it skips the torus there pretty well. All right. So that's the new animate stuff here. It's pretty simple stuff. And then if we go to the animation editor here, you can see the curves here. It's a little bit more advanced animation, but it's pretty simple. It's just the channels. Right now we are looking at the Z rotation here for the torus object. This is the data that's just being animated at frame 1. It's at 0. You can see here, and at frame 48, it's at, if you selected it, the value is 360. You can see the value here on the frame as well. If we modify this, we can up and down, we can modify the value, and left to right we can modify the keyframe on that value. This is very helpful for animation stuff, but for now we're just gonna not mess with that. Alright, so now let's create some materials. Let's see if there are some questions. What is the difference between points and vertices in Houdini? Yes, that's confusing for some people, because let me create a box. So here we have a box, right? This is the box. Say hello to the box. Let me make the points actually bigger. Geometry, point size. This is not the point size. Where are you? Here, point markers, bigger. All right. So these blue ones are the points, right? This is what Houdini calls the points. And if we modify one of those points in 3D space, we will modify the geometry, right? Vertices, if we show the vertices, and there we go. Those are the vertex markers, or the vertices. You can see each face. Let me go to one of the view sides. Just not modify the geometry. Now I think the points are too big. Alright, like that. So the vertices, you can see in this face, we can even see it better if I just delete everything but one face. So I have just one face here. You can see the difference here, right? The point, make it them bigger again. The point is what holds the actual geometry, and the vertice is a location inside that face that it's mostly there for texturing. You can see it has four vertices inside, and the points are the ones that actually hold the geometry. Of course, it's to translate. The vertices will follow the points, but the vertices will always be inside the face. And if we go back here to the cube, you can see each face has a vertice in the inside corner, and the point is just one in the middle. So this is helpful for, the vertices are helpful for texturing, and the points are helpful for building that geometry actually. So that's mainly the difference between those two. And you can actually modify vertices here in the viewport. Let's see, I can select them. Nah, seems like I can't. There we go. I can select the vertices. You can see I'm selecting the vertices there, but I can't move them in 3D space. They are not movable because those are basically texturing coordinates. All right. Any other questions? Can see frame markers in your logo and pictures in the way. Frame markers. Yeah, my head is in the freaking way, right? Let me see. Let's turn that off. All right, my head is higher. All right, so this is the frame marker I was talking about here. This is did change for every frame, and you can press 20. And I was talking about all these buttons, and nobody was seeing that. I was so bad of me. I could put my face here, yay, or here, whatever, or maybe make it smaller. There we go. So this is the playback buttons there, and the frame range markers are here. You can drag this from the center to set the range, and the viewpoint, the end, and the start here. All right. So let's do some material stuff. Can you show how to loop? How to make an animation loop? You found it. Oh, you talking about this loop function? Yes, the animation keyframes automatically do the ease in and out. What did I go to the animation editor? You can see it's auto ease in and out. You can change this to linear. You can see the let's go to the torus there. Put this to 48 again. You can see the torus is not, it's just kind of stopping, and at the end, if we just wanted to feel like it's going all the way, looping, we can go select the torus. The keyframes right now are 360 and 48 are easing in and out. If you don't want that, you can select the linear here. This is the different modes for that curve. Now that it's linear, the velocity is not going to change over time, so it's going to feel like it's just always rotating. Robert seems to like it's bouncing, but the other one is just like rotating. It doesn't stop. To correctly do it, we should actually go to 47, because there's one frame repeating like that. That will be a perfect loop. Make sure you purchase mix training course on Vimeo. Yeah, that's that's a good opportunity to show that. This is the course they're talking about. magicalfireeffects.mixtrn.com. You can buy it there. It's amazing. It's almost 9 hours of amazing training about fire. You see me do everything there. You can see me doing everything from scratch to the final shot done. You'll get it's not for beginners, it's more for intermediate to advanced stuff, to advanced people, but you will get amazing information there. So if you are looking for something like this, please go buy it, please. You missed the beginning, Dave. No worries, man. You can see it after we're done. It will be there in Houdini, in YouTube. What's the best way to render points and lines? Looping key. Alright, so okay. If you want to render points, you just render the points. let's say that I have some points. Let me just do some points really quick. I have points there. Just render them. Just render the points. And there you go. I don't know why are they back down here, but you can see the points rendered directly because there is this parameter here in the geometry section, point scale. We'll just render your points, and you can even make them larger or smaller like that. So if you just have points, they will render. Also, if you have a curve, it will render. We deleted the curve that we had. I don't know why my camera is kind of twisted. Revert to defaults. Alright, my camera was kind of weird. Again, if you have, just create a line. You can see we have a line there. Line. If you render the line, it will render the line. Whoa, it's not there. Weird. Line should be rendered. Let me create something else, because I think this is weird. Circle nerves curve. I think it's rendering, but it's black. Yeah, this is weird. My viewport is weird. There we go. Now it's rendering. There we go. That's the line. It's rendering the line. You can render lines directly. If you have a line, it will render. It will render. If you render it, it will come. Alright, so yeah, P scale controls that attribute there. That is P scale, and this will multiply P scale. And if for lines, you have the parameter called width to control the width of the line. Alright, so let's do some shaders, because we will been talking for about an hour. Hopefully this has been helpful to you guys. Alright, so let's have some objects, plug them here, delete this guy. I don't want to see vertices. So I have these objects. Let me hide the points, and let me move this torus. So how to move points here? You can see this torus here is in the middle there, but I want to move it. I could move it here, or I can just select all those faces by double clicking and then press T. It will create a new edit node there to edit that geometry, and I can just move it. We can also rotate it and do whatever I want with this. And all these transformations are stored in this node. If I disable that node by clicking this bypass flag here, you can see, whoa, this is bypassed and my object is in the same place. Well, this is the procedural Houdini way of doing stuff. This information is not lost, it's there. But then I modify it with this node, and then it's here. And I can even put another transform, which is another way to transform geometry and move it around. But you can see if I disable this one, it's not moving it. But this one, this actually didn't move it. I want to rotate it with this. You can see I'm rotating with this, but I was also rotating and moving with this. So that's how you do procedural stuff in Houdini. I can move it here, and then I just rotate it here because the pivot was here. So the information, it's not lost, it's always there. So I want to add some color to this thing, to these objects. I can add there's a color sub, color. You can add color to any object like this. I'm currently it's white. Let's put it to red. You can see it's red now, and the other objects are their own color, by default white. But if you want to add a shader, then we go to the material palette here. The material palette has a bunch of presets, but the main shader is the principal shader. This is the shader, the default shader, let's call it. And these ones are presets of that one. Most of them are presets of that one. You can create a shader by double clicking on it. No, not double clicking on it. clicking and clicking on this line, it will create it there. To have this little fancy Disney castle. Oh, it didn't say that. You can click it and delete it. You can also just drag it and drag it as much as times as you want or you need. Just click them and delete them. You can also just drag them to any object here, but you can see it's being highlighted there. If I drop it, it will apply it to the whole thing, because let's go here. This is different components of one huge object, right? Let me try Roberto. This object contains different components. So the material, it's assigned here in the render tab. You can see the material is here. That's the material we just applied. If we click here, you can see there's the material that we have here in the material palette. We can click it, and rename it. Like, let's say Taurus Red. So that's the name now. I want to create another one, and this I'm going to call this, just call it blue. And I create another one. I'm going to call this cyan, because I like that color. And we can set the parameters. Let's put this, select this red one, and click on this swatch, and we can select red. It's applied to the objects right now, so we're seeing the result here in the viewport. But you can also click on this color wheel here, and it will expand those channels. If you click here again, if you don't like RGB, you can choose HSB, or if you click again, you have temperature. I don't know what this M and I are actually. I'll have to investigate that, but I know that the first one is temperature. All right, so let's leave these two, and all these ones are here as well. And there's a few preset swatches. Let's select red, or this huge wheel here as well, if that's what you want to use. For this one, we're gonna choose blue. Let's choose some other kind of blue, darkish blue, and cyan for this one. All right, so but we have this object level assigning here. We can assign any material, right? If we have another object, you can see, where is Roberto? Roberto, let's remove the shader that it has by default. We can assign another material to Roberto. Another way is just like clicking here, this chooser, just clicking the, let's say the cyan, and then it's assigned to Roberto. Let's assign the red one. Now the blue one. All right, Roberto, it's blue. But if we want to assign to these different objects, we have to do it inside the object actually. So let's go inside, and there is a material node here. Also, what I'm doing there is just right clicking on the output here. If I just press tab, let's go. I'm gonna create a node, right? If I create the material node, press enter, it's not plugged to anything. I can just drag it, and you can see a preview of where it's gonna be connected there. You can see this is pretty cool. You can just drag it there and it's gonna be connected. But if you just want to create it connected at the beginning, you can just right click here, and I'm not pressing tab. By right clicking on the output, it brings the material or the tab menu. And there's also a recent history of nodes that I've used here. If I type material and enter, you can see now that node is going to be placed there and it's connected. And now we have a material section here to apply a material to that object specifically. You can see, let's put the blue one, and this one's blue. Let's go up here. But why it's everyone cyan? Well, it's because we assign a material here. So if you're assigning materials inside here, you need to have this blank, because this will override what's inside. So let's just delete that one, and you can see now I have two materials, right? Let's go inside and apply another material for this really quickly. See, this is really quickly once you get the hold of this, it's just really quickly right click in material, just click in here, and the red one. Whoa, red is not red. Let's go to the material palette. Red. Oh, red, it is red. What happened here? Torus red. Ah, there we go. Wow. It's not showing here, but it's showing there. It's weird. It's red, then you merged it and it's not red. That is weird. I don't know what's happening. This is weird. Let's disconnect this and connect it back. There we go. I don't know. It wasn't updating for some reason. And so there, the nodes are pretty cool. You can align them like this. Pretty cool stuff. Now we have materials on different nodes, and we can just go to the render view and click render, and we are gonna have a really nice starting scene. But you can see it's over there. Why? Well, because we don't have a camera. So let's create a camera. So if we want to render this, like, you can position your viewport whatever you want to put your camera, and then just go to this drop down and say new camera, or control click on this camera icon here, control click. We'll create the camera looking at that. So it's pretty simple to create. If we navigate away, you can see the camera, it's there, it's been created. If we want to go look through the camera again, you can go here and select that camera, and you can see through the camera. If you want to actually move the camera, you need to lock it with this little lock here. If you lock that, now if we move it, you can see we are controlling the actual camera. We want Roberto in the scene as well. Now we unlock it and we are not moving the camera anymore. If you go now to the render view, we can select our camera and render, and now it will render what we was looking at in the camera. There we go. So this is this, right? Pretty cool. The resolution of this, you can see this is the resolution right there. The resolution is here in the camera, in the view. This is the resolution that it's gonna render at. If I change this to something smaller, it changes automatically. You can see this render view is really amazing because it auto refreshes. Let me home this. Oh, well, this is this auto update button is enabled. We can even go to the material palette and change the color of the material to something else, and you can see it updates really quickly there. It's pretty amazing for shading stuff. And let's turn this off by stop the render with this little icon there, and that's how we created a camera. Now let's create a light. Let's first go to back here. You can see right now I'm in the material context here, because there is where the materials are actually being created. The material palette, it's just like a preset stuff section, you know. But the actual material context, which you can again see here, or just click here, it's where the materials are. You can see the materials have a bunch more stuff, but there's the same parameters are here, and then you can plug stuff here to the materials, like a texture to the base color or something like that. So let's do which one do we have for Roberto? That one. We can actually create a press tab again and start typing text for texture, and we can drop a texture node, and then you can connect it to this output. It's the same as the other nodes. You can just click, drag it to the base color, and it has a picture by default there. If we go and render this, Roberto will have a weird picture, but it's just gonna show you that we can plug a texture here. So there we go. It's the default mandrel texture that it comes with Houdini. That's how you plug a texture to this. Or you don't actually have to do this with the actual shader that is built into Houdini, because it has a section for textures here in the second tab, and you can just say use a texture, and then plug whatever texture you want here. Let me put the mandrel again. This texture comes with Houdini, so it's just the same thing. Put yeah, let's go. That one's cool. It's gonna be exactly the same. But if you wanna texture any other parameters or something like that, it will work as well, like this. Actually, that didn't work. That's weird. Oh, because I typed the name incorrectly. There we go. It works, and it tints by the with this color. It's tinted with that color. All right. So this is where the materials are being created. You can create more materials here as well. You can create another principal shader, which is exactly the same shader that we've been using. And there's a bunch more stuff here that it's not for today. We'll see another in another day. We can see more on this. Let's go to the object level again, and let me remove that texture. I don't want that texture. Let's go here. I don't use the texture. You can see I can see it here in the viewport. Don't want to use it. Let's go back to object level. You can actually just click here if you find it if you find it faster just to click here to go to the different contexts. Let's create a grid for the floor. Let's make this really large. And let's now, the same way we created a camera, let's move the camera around, the viewport around, and let's create a light. Let's just put it about here, and then control click the distant light here. Now it created a light like in that direction. You can see if I move around, there's the light. It's been created, and this light is just like a sunlight that is just illuminating one direction, like we are seeing right now there. I'm not seeing any shadows. I want to hide the grid for now. And why is there no shadows? Should be able to see shadows here. I don't know why it's not happening. All right, so now that we have a light, let's go and render again. Let's see what the render looks like now. You can see we have a light that it's coming from that direction, and we have our shadows in the floor, and if we have a floor and all that stuff we created, right? There's a few other things here that we can modify for the light. We can change the type, which is different types of lights. We can move it around with these parameters, or we can move it around like a camera as well. We can select it from here. Go to the select the look through light. Select the distant light that we have right now, and lock it as well, like we did with the camera. We can move the light around. Let's say I want the light to come from this side instead of the other side. Unlock, and now the light is there. We can create another light if we choose. In this area, another distant light. I don't want it to be maybe. I want it to be maybe a little bit yellow, not too intense. And now we have two lights, right? Pretty cool. And it's huge. I don't know why it's huge, but it's huge. And now if we render, now we have two lights, and we have a really simple scene that we are rendering here. All right, let me see. There's more questions. Edges of geometry. You can select edges. Yeah, I don't know what you mean by that, but you can select any edge of the geometry you want. Can you go over the node buttons on the new UI design for nodes? I think we already did that. This is just new UI that is basically the same as what you have here. This is the display, this is the selection, and this is the information. If you click it, it has some information. This is for displaying or hiding. You can see the floor is hiding or not. And this is for selection, if you want to enable selection or not. You can see right now I can't select that floor. If I enable it, now I can select it. So that's that. Inside, let's go here. Inside we have a few more. This is for display. This is for template. If you wanna, if I'm working in this node here, if I'm working in this node right here, you can see I can't see the tutorials, but if I press the template, I will see it as a template, or this node. I will see it like, oh, I want to get this all the way up here. Now I'm seeing that as a template to guide me. This is for locking the node. This is basically if you just want to like freeze a node, like all the work I did up to here, it's gonna be saved. If I change anything before that, it's just not gonna be a change, which is just basically locking that state information again. Then bypass is just by disabling or enabling that. This new ring, it's amazing. I use it a lot, and it's even more amazing when you have a bunch of nodes, like you have a huge network. You can just select that really quickly without even going there and clicking these ones here, which is basically the same as these ones here. All right. If you want to know about UVs, we already have a UVs webinar. Go see the UVs webinar. How to add multiple materials, we already did that. To one gem, yeah, I know what you mean. If you want to add, like, let's say I want to add 2 materials to this object, you can select that. You can select a section like that, and let's see if it works if I do this. Yeah. So if you just select whatever you want, create a material, it will create that selection there. You can just go and let's say blue. Let's select the other side. I'm missing one there. Again, another material with that selection, and then I can put red on that one. There you go. You can assign material to whatever faces you want to select. Nice stuff. Hi from South Korea. Hey man, Ju. Josu. No, I won't butcher your name. It's Joe or Ju. Hi man. Does Mentor have render GI by default? No. You have to let's go to the that's something that we need to do. Go to the output, or here again. We have one Mentor node now. I want to delete it. Let's go to the render tab, the render menu. We can create different render different renders for Mantra. This is basically the same with something preset. Like the PBR is just the same with the PBR pre-selected, and I recommend you use that one. The PBR is the good one, is the nice one. So you can see we create that node to render. Mantra is the renderer that comes with Houdini. To actually, let me go somewhere. Start rendering this. You can see by default we have this camera selected for rendering. You can select any camera you want to render from. If we have more than one camera, this is where you output pictures when you have an animation that you're gonna render. And then in the rendering tab, it's where you set your quality. These pixel samples will be more quality if you make it higher. Right now it's just not needed. Actually, it's pretty cool at the resolution it is. And the sample is going to be how much rays we emit, and this is the samples there. Let me just turn off one light. Let me go. I have this light. I'm gonna turn it off by this checkbox there. Let's go to render view. You can see these areas are dark because there's no GI there. If we go hit the Mantra node again, in the limit section, there's this diffuse limit. If you raise it, it's gonna start doing more bounces of light, and it doesn't look that good, but because I don't have maybe nothing to be bouncing off. But let me see, you can kind of notice it here in Roberto. But if you raise this, it will be kind of like more bounces of light around your scene. That would kind of be like GI stuff. It's not something that I worry much about, Mantra. Hey, Toguro, what's up? Hey, Fernando, what's up, man? What's the specs of my computer? Really fast computer. This section will be up. This video will be available after we finish. So don't worry about it if you didn't see the whole thing. All right, so we did materials, we did lights, we did modifying. Let's talk about these new menus here. Let's go to the object level. Let's go to this one. So we have, let's focus on this guy. Go inside, and I'm gonna delete these shaders for now. Let's just focus on these sources. If I select some points and I want to extrude them because I want to start modeling this, there is a model section here, and the polygons actually is the poly extrude node. You can click it, and then you have this handle to start extruding that in or out. Then you have the properties here. You can inset that. Well, inset that selection. You can have more distance here as well. You can add more divisions to it. These are just shortcuts of this parameters here. See, I can do it like here. I can modify the distance with the handle, or I can modify it here. Right? If I press Q on the keyboard, you can see that repeats the last tool. Now I'm adding another extrude. If I press Q again, you can add it again. I just press W. Oh yeah, I need to talk about that after I do this. If I want to now select this face and press Q, I can just extrude that one, this one, extrude it. So this is pretty simple. The other way and the new way is actually using these menus here. So this is basically like different radial menus that you have available. Let's put this to poly modeling, which is what we're doing. Now we have poly modeling there. If we press C on the keyboard, you can see my key there. Now it has this floating radial menu wherever your mouse is. So like this. If I wanna extrude these 4 faces, I can press C and then just select this tool here, and then I can just do that really quickly instead of going up here. Or I can even have this hidden. If I wanna now bevel this selection, I can just press C and poly bevel, and now I'm beveling here. You can see I'm beveling that, which is pretty bad selection, but I'm beveling that. If I want to select S3 to edges, and I want to select these edges here, maybe something different like this. I want to select these edges, press C, not B, C, and poly bevel, and now I'm poly beveling that area. It's pretty useful. If I select the inside face now, again, press C, I can do another extrude. If I want to add an edge loop, press C, edge loop, add edge loop. Q to repeat, I can add another edge loop. If I want to add another edge loop here, or I can do also, if you press X, there's the snapping radial menu, and if you press the V key, this is the this has a lot of stuff like viewport, different viewports. You can change to quad viewports. I wish you can also do here. There's a lot of more viewports that you can use. 3 viewports like that, 3 viewports like that, 2 viewports, 1 viewport. Also in the B, this is shading. You can see this is changing the shading for the viewport like wireframe. Or the shortcut for that is W. You press W, you will go to wireframe. You need to be in smooth wireframe, smooth wireframe, wireframe. So this is the also that menu for the different wire, display options: hidden wire, flat, smooth. But it's also here in the B menu, shading. All those options are there. Selection options as well. Select visible geometry, all geometry, combine, etc. Selection tools, the box. This is just like some other tools that you can use. And the X one, when you press C, sorry. You press C, this will be related to this menu here. If I am in rigging and I press C, now I have stuff for rigging. If I change this to pyro, now I press C, now I have stuff for pyro. Make explosion, flames, attributes, etc. So this is pretty useful. Just keeps the and you can make your own stuff. You can create one, edit the current one, etc. So it's pretty cool. The other thing that it's pretty cool, let me just do this. It's a polyfill. Just double click there to select the edges. See, polyfill. Now that is awesome. Fills the geometry really quickly. Blah 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 blah. All right. So let's see if there's any questions. So that's how you model stuff, and you can select vertices and move them around. And my dog wants to be here. How about it, man? Hey, what's up, Bruno? What's up? So yeah, you can move points, you can move edges. Somebody asked about edges. You can double click them, move them, scale them, E to scale, scale them, move them around. You can even extrude them, extrude the edges if you so desire, but this will be a no-no. This is a no-no for edges. You shouldn't have edges like this one. All right, so let's see. Is there a scale option for area lights? Yes, you can just scale the area lights and you have area light. Let's create an area light. Area light, create an area light. If you just there's my area light. If you just change the scale here, where are you? Scale here. Whoa. Where the hell is it? Interesting. Why is the scale not available? Should be. Oh, sorry. It's here. Area size. This is the area size you need to change for area lights. There we go. Hey, Sal. Hey, Darkshade Productions. Hey, man. No, Bertus Acclimation. We're not gonna do this now. We will do a games-related webinar. Is it really? No, you don't need to be a Python master to use Houdini. We've been using Houdini here for 2 hours and we haven't typed any code at all. You don't need any code to use Houdini. I guess I should have said that even before I started. It was like, you don't need anything. You don't need to be a master of or coding or Python or anything like that to use Houdini. You can use Houdini like any other application. It's not hard to use. Houdini is the same as Maya, as Blender, as any other application. You don't need to know anything to use it. You don't need to be a master of nothing. You can just use it. You can do Python in Blender, you can do Python in Maya, but you don't have to, unless you want to. But yeah, you don't need any of that stuff. Displaying normals. You can display normals on everything. Let's go here. I don't have normals on this right now. If I middle click on this, I can see what the parameters I have. Right now, normals are not one of them. I can put the normal node to add normals to this object. Now I have normals, because if I middle click, you can see there's a normals attribute there. If I click this button here, display normals, it's called display normals, and then it displays the normals. There you go, display normals. What was the other thing? Backface cooling. Backface cooling, it's on the this icon here at the bottom. You can click it and you can see it's somewhere around here. I never use that thing. I don't know why somebody will use it, but if you want to, it's somewhere here. Remove back faces. There you go. Now you can see I'm not seeing the back faces. Now I see them. Now I don't. Now I see them. Now I don't. If you want to be the default, that as the default, just save default, and that will be enabled every time. All right. Normals. Normals are just the way that the geometry is shaded. Normals are weird thingies. Box. Let's create a box. We have a box. It has some normals there. Normal. Okay, normal. Normals. You can see these arrows pointing, these lines pointing outside of those things. I think you are more used to seeing something like this. These normals are just used for shading. You can see this is black here and a little bit more light here. That's how the surface is being smooth. You can see now, right now it's smooth. Let me change this to by face. Vertices. No, not by face, like that. You can see now the faces, if I put this lower, you can see the faces look like they're flat. And that's because the normals are pointing in the same direction. This is just a trick that it's used for displaying the geometry when it's not totally smooth. If I go past 90, you can see the normals now are kind of making the geometry look like it's more rounded than it is. You can see it now looks more smooth. So that's why the normals are used for. If they are like 90 degrees, the geometry looks more flat. If you smooth that, then the geometry looks more smooth. It's pretty simple. It's not that hard stuff to understand. So, whew, man, this session has been amazing. 2 hours, cool. I kind of expected to be 2 hours long. Hey Dan. Well, basically, normals are not for texturing. Normals are for smoothing of the surface. Vertices are for texturing. And the let me put the vertex. Let's see if this one still works. Normal, cusp normal. Doesn't show the actual normals. Whatever. But yeah, the normals are for the smoothing of the surface, and the vertices or the vertex as for texturing. I'm not sure if you can import STL files. I've never used that kind of object, but if you just go to File and Import Geometry, that should be available there. STL, yeah, it supports STL, so it should work. Might be something wrong with your file or something that it's not supporting Houdini, but it does support STL. Alright, so I think that's gonna be it for today. We have we covered a lot of ground. Basic modeling, yeah, we did ghosting, we did selections, we did edit mode. I don't want to get into expressions. We did vertex normals, yeah, materials groups, plane materials. Cool. We did a bunch of this thing. All right. Alrighty. Okay, guys, so I think that's gonna be it for today. If not, nobody's gonna watch this video after this. Yeah, the video will be available after press stop. It will be available there in YouTube. Don't worry about it, Eric. Yes, I don't have any libraries for VGeo nodes. If you have any other format, the 3D scans, I know they're in different formats, so try OBJ. It will import as nothing. It might be working, but just take a look and see what's happening. All right, guys. Thank you a lot for being here. Again, if you want to support the channel, please go buy my training. I'm preparing more training as we speak. So if you want to buy this right now, you can see this. There's a bunch of lessons. This training, it's amazing. This is really nice stuff. All right, thank you guys again. Thank you very much for being here. I hope you learned some stuff of this. We will need to do a part 2 of this because there's so much stuff to cover, and so much stuff. But I hope that I cover a few of the basics so you can guys get started and know how to create materials, how to do stuff like that. And all right, I guess it's gonna be good for today. Thank you again, guys, and I will see you next time. Let's keep learning together. All right, cheers. I'm gonna hold my face like this until I stop streaming. Oh my god, I'm gonna stop now. And